for the Friday Foursome. What are you doing on your cell phone?
I know it's time for the Friday Foursome. I'm arguing with people. The dress is black and blue. It is not white and gold. Have you seen this picture?
Who cares?
Well, exactly. It's black and blue, but I'm sure today's guest sees black and blue in the dress. But yesterday, and this has nothing to do with golf, but I find it funny. Les, did you see the llama drama yesterday here in?
No, I didn't.
You missed the llama drama? I'll send you the meme.
I missed it.
We've been infamous for 2 llamas getting loose in Sun City. Anyway, it was pretty funny. I'm driving home, and I'm like, breaking national news was these 2 llamas running around, and I'm like, that's not really news, but it's funny. Anyway, so you notice that there's not 4 of us today. It's not the Friday Foursome. It is the Friday Foursome, but Jason is not with us, and well, we have too many questions for today's guest, so I told Jason to take the week off. So Jason's not going to be joining us today. But that's okay, because I have questions from him. He actually had to go pick up his kid. It was snowing, and his school closed. But today's guest is a lot of stuff, and she's a foodie first and foremost, which is partly why I think I like her, is that she's a foodie. But we're going to get to that. Les from Pro Golf Now. Les, you don't have snow on the ground, do you?
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. Yeah, you do. I forgot.
3 feet.
It's 75 and sunny here, not where you.
I don't want to hear about it.
Sorry, but today's guest is I don't even know where we got connected initially, and I've been following along on Twitter, and she was in town for the Waste Management Phoenix Open and came all this way to see me and didn't see me. So I'm going to let that slide a little bit because she is going to be in town for hashtag the Oven 15 later this summer, which Les is not going to be in town for, nor Jason. I don't think he's coming either. But so she's a blogger, but she's more than a blogger. She's a foodie. She's a traveler. She's got a lot of stuff going on. So versus me telling you who she is and what she does and what she writes about and all the busy things she has in her life, I'm going to introduce you to Deanna Alfredo from Tea to Table. Welcome to the Friday Foursome.
Hi guys, thanks for having me. You're right, it's a little bit more than a blog. Ironically, I started out my career as a chef, and I often get, did I change my name for the business with my last name being Alfredo? But no, that's my given name, and it's kind of fun to twist it in with the business.
I wondered about that.
I didn't even think about that until right now. So that's
I did.
And you know, Ricky, I'm going to let you stand me up one slide, but I don't know if I'm going to do it twice, you know.
It's not going to happen again because the next time you're here, you're going to be playing golf. We're going to be playing some of the best courses in the valley. So, well, we have when I say laundry list, I should say we have a recipe of questions. See? The food connection? No, it's not the same.
Yeah, I like
but I've got a ton of questions, and I'm going to start with my first one because we are talking about you coming to Phoenix. You were just in Phoenix for the Phoenix, and you were in Scottsdale for the Phoenix Open. I still think that they should change the name, but that's beside the point. So you like to stay at really nice hotels, and I don't blame you because I do too. And I know you've stayed at the Fairmont here in Scottsdale. That's at TPC Scottsdale. I know you've stayed at True North at the Four Seasons. What is your favorite hotel, not only in Scottsdale, but anywhere in the world? And tell me a story about your favorite hotel.
Oh, geez. It's hard to pick just one because sometimes there's different reasons why you like different resorts, right? I'm going to do this in a 2-part answer because it's hard to say just one. My favorite place to go stay is Ballyhat Golf Club in Roanoke, Virginia. And they have, it's a national course, and they have cottages at the course that you stay in and you drive your golf cart to go play every morning. For me, that's like ideal just to get away, play golf, and shut the world out. And I think sometimes, hands down, that's better than a fancy resort. So maybe I'm just going to reiterate and say, no, that's my best pick, is staying on a golf course in a great setting.
Okay, I like that. Now, I didn't have this listed as a question that I wanted to ask, but because of that and that sounds like a really cool experience. What's your least favorite? You don't have to say the name of the hotel if you don't want to, but what's a bad experience you've had at a hotel that sticks out?
You know, a bad experience for me is typically a hotel or anywhere that you stay that doesn't recognize the need for updating, where you arrive and the carpets are worn out, and just that type of thing where you feel like you got to keep flip-flops on like you're in a locker room. So mostly I think that most hotels and places you stay need to really be cognizant of, it's time to put some money into something. And I think that's the biggest failure that a lot of hotels have.
Les, take it away. You got a bunch of good questions.
Well, obviously you don't watch Hotel Impossible, and
love that show. Oh, I love that show so much.
it kind of leads me into my second question. I'm going to go with my second question first right now.
Okay.
Have you ever met Gordon Ramsay or
Tee that up, Wes. There's got to be. She said she was a chef. You got to tee it up wild. Like,
Yeah.
she knows who Gordon Ramsay
I
is,
know
of course.
she knows. I'm not worried about she knows. I'm worried about the audience knowing.
Or do you know? I'm sorry.
I wish I have. I've met a few more regionally renowned chefs. Mark Esty, for one, in Aspen area. I think I've met more really great golfers than chefs, to be honest with you.
How about Anthony McCurry? Do you watch Hotel Impossible or?
Oh, I love
I've
that
seen-
show so much.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times. We really watch Restaurant Impossible more.
I just finished that last night. I watched the last episode. I just finished it yesterday.
Yeah, we watched that.
So that
My 11-year-old.
I like the way
it.
that I like the way that the way McCurry gets after those people when things ain't right.
Well, Restaurant Impossible is the exact same thing with a chef versus a hotelier. And Restaurant Impossible is so funny because like that show is so exactly the same. Like he shows up and he talks about it, and like it's the exact same format. And I am obsessed with reality TV shows. So I'm glad that you.
Yeah.
Okay, Jason did have questions, and I guess I'll ask some of his, but he wants to know what your favorite recipe to make is.
Ooh, okay. For me, this might be a no-brainer. It has to be Italian. I was raised cooking Italian food since I was 4, so probably anything in that realm. I really enjoy making homemade pasta, and I've gotten into using gluten-free flours and things like that to make it a little bit more health conscious. And last summer we grew my own garden of tomatoes, so I canned sauces all summer. So a lot of Italian food. That's really in my roots. That's what's fun.
And I hope that you use marinara instead of Alfredo, but that's just a play on words.
I was going to say, with her name, I'm surprised you had to ask that question.
I know. I do make them in Alfredo, though.
So I absolutely love your logo. Who designed it? And I mean, I kind of understand what. Actually, let's make that a two-part question. One, explain the name Tea to Table and the logo because it fits that name so perfectly. So. Explain the name Tea to Table, and then explain who designed the logo and the motivation behind that.
I'll try to keep this short because there's a little bit of a story.
That's all right. We got time. We got 30 minutes.
Okay. I quickly learned I didn't want to be a chef, and I had a business for about 13 years that I grew and built employees. And after 10 years of business, I still cooked at home, and I'd entertain for family and friends, and I'm kind of known in my community for that you've been talking about because I dabbled in food photography, and I was sitting there and I was thinking, okay, what has to do with golf? And I just came up with Tea to Table just randomly, and it's really worked out well. And I sketched a logo that was a golf ball, and I thought, how could I work in the food part? So it started out as a fork and a knife on either side of the golf ball, and then my site originally was my design, so I did a lot of grassroots because it was fun and it was a hobby at that point. And now I have a website company, and they took and refined my logo, and that's where we're at today. And I really now have a really cool business card that is a heavier dense paper, and that logo's on it, and you can pop the logo out, and it's a ball marker.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah,
that is
it's
cool.
Yeah.
So the name Tea to Table, like, is it just your, you mean golf and food? I mean, is it just kind of...
Right. It kind of speaks to kind of the slogan that we use.
Yeah, the farm to table, and everything's, So that is really cool. I want to see this business card, so when you come in July, make sure I see that.
Make sure you get one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I need one. Yeah, mark my watch.
Yes.
So I always say this because I never say it at the beginning of the Friday Foursome, but the Friday Foursome is presented by greenskeeper.org, and I am so blown away with the work that John Hakeem has been doing with greenskeeper.org to get their members involved in the Friday Foursome, and every week he's posting and promoting the Hangout like Monday, Tuesday, and then he's asking for questions from their members. So I don't think we have any from our traditional member. Les, did you see any
Yeah,
from
oh yeah,
from
yeah. I
Ringworld?
got.
Oh yeah,
I
I'm
have
sure you
one
got
from
one.
Ringworld, and I have a couple of just points to make from a few other people there.
So the first one that I'm going to bring up is from a member named K Visor, I guess. K Visor. I don't know how you would say that, but she says, I enjoyed reading a little of your blog. Thank you for your efforts to encourage women in the game. So it must be she or a guy that wants to grow women's golf. I enjoy my time in the kitchen. On your blog, are the recipes exclusively yours? That is a great question.
Yes.
Actually, you'll see on the site, a lot of time I get inspiration from a recipe, and I will say if I've adapted it from somewhere, but I have never really followed a recipe. I kind of like to make it my own, and I know what the influences I like to make is the recipes that you see on the site I have cooked, and all the pictures you see are the pictures I take while I'm cooking.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's kind of a madhouse.
So I'm gonna make. Speaking of recipes, I'm gonna make something this weekend. I have this. My mind went back to when I was growing up, and my mom used to make this pork loin with pineapples. And so I texted her yesterday, and I was like, "What's that recipe?" And she's like, "Well, it's pork loin and pineapples." I'm like, all right, good answer. But there's brown sugar involved, and it was funny because I went. I mean, not to totally get off the subject, but it's about food. I went to the store last night and I bought a pork loin, and it's like this freaking big, like it's huge. And we have a miniature dachshund, and it's literally like twice the size of our dog. And I'm thinking, consider yourself lucky, Charlie. So I'm going to go ask another question from Jason here. So he says, tell us about your favorite tools both in the kitchen and on the golf course.
My favorite tools. All right. In the kitchen, I think that every chef will say is a good knife. And for me, I have ceramic handles, and they're weighted, and I've had them about 3 years, and it's funny. It's as good of an investment as a good set of golf clubs, I think. So that kind of parlays into that. Also in the kitchen, a good cutting board. They're kind of basing away that you don't think about. I'm not into the gadgets. I'm pretty hands-on with traditionally how, zesting a lemon, some of those things. I'm really old school about that. Tools on the course are, like I said, I just got some new clubs, so I'm excited to see what they can do. And a cute outfit, of course.
Now, wait a minute. It's not the clubs, necessarily. The clubs can help, but the swing also drives and powers those clubs.
Absolutely. I've been putting time
into Les, you got a couple of good questions. These are some of the best questions you've had lately.
First of all, I was just curious. How did you decide to marry up golf, food, and travel into a website? I went to your website, by the way, and it's a very, very nice website. I used to do website design, and I was impressed. So, yes, it's a very nice website.
For me, like I said, I have a passion for cooking, as you know, and I started golfing because of business. I'm surprised that hasn't been a question yet, but we'll see if that comes up. And became very passionate about golf, and I live in Michigan. So I found myself traveling a lot just to go play. And I just started sharing my experiences, and that's how it became Food, Golf, and Travel. And I just think that food is in everything that we do. And it's just really great to get out and explore different courses and different areas. So that's just kind of how it came about.
Really? That's a good answer.
That is. Now, wait a minute. You said you got into golf because of business, and then I didn't get that segue, but now because you brought it up. Let's see.
Like I said, I've had a business that I started in 2002. So I would go to 10 conferences, and at the beginning of the conference, there was typically a golf outing. And I was in a very male-dominated world, and I was like the only female. And when I found that out the first time, I'm like, hold the phone. I'm not going to be left out. So I went home and I took a few lessons. I've always been very athletic. And like I said, I got some cute clothes, right, and some clubs. And the next time I was ready for them. And I was very fortunate because I hit the ball decent off the tee, so I became a really popular scramble player. This A-type personality that I have, I just wanted to play more and get better, and that was about 3.5 years ago.
That is awesome. Hashtag play more golf. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you travel a lot, and I travel a lot, but not nearly as much as you. I feel like every time I talk to you, you're in some different city and state. Where are a few places that you've not traveled that are on your bucket list of places that you have to see? And actually, this is a 3-part question, but let's start there. Where haven't you been that you want to see?
You know, I've done most of my traveling within the U.S. I've been to Europe very little, so obviously I want to go to the home of golf in Scotland and Ireland. And I also haven't been to California much. Crazy. I don't know why I haven't, but of course I
Really?
have probably on my list. I know. How do I not get to California? And I have Oregon. They have some great wines, and I want to do the whole Willamette Valley wine tour with the Pinots and maybe hit Bandon and a couple other courses.
They have some really good craft beers too. Just so you know, Bend has some of the best craft beers in the Pacific Northwest. They awesome job in
Okay.
Bend and Portland, and
Yeah.
beer is better than wine, but that's a conversation we should have offline because I don't want to make anybody upset. Okay,
I'm
so California, Oregon. Now, where is your least favorite place to visit? Like every time you have to go there, you're going there. You're like, really? I don't really want to go there. Anywhere that you don't like going?
Orlando. Orlando. I
That's,
have to go there so much. I'm so over it. And there's kids on the plane, and it's miserable.
Yep.
So yeah,
The Kid Express.
I have to think.
I lived in Central Florida for 18 years and did a lot of flying in and out of Orlando. And you're absolutely right.
and now your favorite
Oh,
place to visit when you're excited to go back every time you go back. Where do you like to visit? Say Scottsdale.
um, you know, it really am becoming really pleased with going to Scottsdale. I've been 3 times since December, and I'm going next month again. And what's become kind of cool is it feels like a second home. And, you know, we played Quintero last time in Troon North, and they were great. And so much so that I'm like, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to play Monument this time. I played the Four Seasons, and I have meetings. And it just, my marketing director lives in Scottsdale.
Oh, nice.
So I've been going there more. Yeah. So Scottsdale is kind of the place to be for me right now.
No, wait a minute, Les. She's been here 3 times since December. How many times have you been here lately? Just saying.
Been a while.
Yeah, I know. Ask your next
My
question, even though you don't come to visit me.
I
Oh,
was
sorry,
just
go
gonna,
ahead.
I was just gonna tell her that when you do go out to California, especially around the Pebble Beach area, make sure you go up by Santa Cruz there, between Santa Cruz and San Jose, and play Pasatiempo.
Ooh,
It's
yeah.
it's an Alistair McKenzie course, and at one time it was rated. Well, Bobby Jones said it was the best course he ever played. So, and I've played it 3 or 4
Wow.
times, and it's definitely a challenge. uh, Tell us about your trip to Pinehurst.
Well, I went to Pinehurst last year around the same time, and you know it was before the U.S. Open, so it was really interesting being there in February. The course was really kind of ready. They were still doing some other things at that point, and we stayed at the Holly Inn, which just getting to Pinehurst itself, my husband and I said it felt like we were in a movie setting. You know, you kind of walk in, you're like, where are we at? This is a whole different era, different time. But it was really, even from the history part of it, I really enjoyed it. And, you know, we played #2 in match play for this tournament, which was brutal. And we played #4, Mid Pines and Pine Needles. So I was really upset that we weren't heading out there Saturday. But we'll get there soon.
Isn't North Carolina a beautiful place, especially down that part of the
It
woods?
is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Les,
Yeah, we really enjoyed it.
Ask your Ring World question, because I feel like we haven't given Ring World enough press this week.
Okay, I have a question from Ringworld. He says, any good tips for snacks to keep your energy up on the golf course during a round, and a nice dish afterwards?
Bud Light,
Okay.
Coors Light, or Miller Light, or snacks?
Bud Light.
I think, you know, when I'm golfing, I eat a lot of fruit, apples and things like that, a lot of jerky, almonds, anything that will give you energy. You know, high carbs, you'll build up and then you'll crash. And I guess, too, I've been on a really clean eating diet, so maybe I'm not the correct person to ask for that. But a lot of times just coming off the course, I just like a good steak. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, there's a
steak
question
girl.
about steaks coming up here in the back.
I go
nine.
for
Let's see.
You've got my vote on the steak.
I need to think, yeah, higher after a big day on the course.
Yeah.
So I typically start with like a burrito, a breakfast burrito, and then I play, and then I have a few of those Coors Lights in the middle of the round, and then I go out and have wings at the end of the day. So I eat healthy too, clean.
You actually
Yep,
drink
it
Coors
is. Yeah.
Light on the course?
If out of the three that I mentioned, Bud Light, Coors Light, and Miller Light, Coors Light wins. I'm sorry. It's Rocky
Uh,
Mountain Coors. And Brady
uh,
Wilson, general manager at Auction Southern Dunes, will
Yeah.
appreciate me saying that.
all right.
So, Jason wants to know, what is the Magic on Magnolia adventure? I have no idea what that even is.
Oh, okay. Well, last year I went with a group to the Masters for the week, and my husband loves to tell everyone, I had to drag him along with me. Um, yeah, literally.
Poor
And
baby.
yeah, right. It
Yeah.
was such a great experience. We have 6 houses in the group, so it's a very exclusive opportunity, once in a lifetime, really, for a lot of people. And we have a main house which serves as our hospitality house, where you go for all your meals. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included in the trip. And in the evening, a couple of players might be coming for dinner. I got to know Billy Horschel really well last year, and his family. I met Joey D, the biomechanics coach for Ricky Fowler and Dustin Johnson, and had a chance to train with him. But it's really, really experiencing Augusta, going to the course, having an opportunity to play local courses. This year I'll be playing Sage Valley and Augusta Country Club. And I'll also be hosting a brunch for the ladies of Augusta on Saturday, which I'm actually going to cook for them.
Wow.
That is so cool.
And, yeah.
Hey, have you had a chance to play Augusta National, or no? Do you know anybody that's had the chance to put you on the golf course?
Not yet. I got to pull those favors in.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
for sure.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe if you cook a good meal for Condoleezza Rice, she could see that you got in there.
I hope you listen. I'd be happy to cook for a week, a month.
Yeah.
I'll be your cook for the rest of the year. That's fine. And if you need a caddy, just so you know, you had to drag your husband to get to the Masters.
Yeah.
You don't have to drag me. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can get there on my own.
Right.
Now
Exactly.
Les's next question is all about a prior guest of the Friday Foursome. Les, I'm really curious to learn more about this one.
I'm not sure which question you're talking about. Is it one I forgot to write down?
Apparently, because I just left it in the chat for you to ask it without a pause. You didn't.
Oh, I was, yes. I put the question in and I forgot to write it down on my paper. It's about Mallory Blackwelder. Obviously, she was a guest on the Friday Foursome, and I was just curious about your connection with her.
Mm-hmm. I actually sponsor Mallory on the tour.
Really?
And
wow.
My name is on her front of her shirt, Tea to Table.
Wow.
This is my second year working with Mallory. And how I met her was I played in the Pro-Am at the Florida's Natural Metro Tour event in Winter Haven 2.5 years ago. And I met her there. She didn't play with me. I just saw her coming off the course and said hi to her. And I knew her from the Big Break days from watching her on TV. And at home I have my own Tea to Table Charity Classic. And it was my first year and putting it on, and I've been to so many that I thought I really needed to make it great and make it a draw. And I Googled her, found her website, and called her agent and said, how do I get Mallory at my tournament? And so we worked it out, and Mallory came to the tournament, and she's just a top-class girl. She's professional. She's a great player. She's so charismatic. I think she's really kind of like the golf package. And then I had another event at Ballyhack in Roanoke, which I was hosting, and I brought her to that event. And her agent came with her, and we started chatting, and I sponsored her last year and this year. So
that's
she's
terrific.
a great gal, and yeah, I'm excited about the partnership.
Well, and she retweeted the link whenever I posted that we were live today with you, so she's at least paying attention, and I hope she's watching, and if she is, I like it. I appreciate that. So
That's right.
I had a quote from someone. Les, did you see that from Greenskeeper? It was like about 4 pages long.
I didn't get a chance to see it.
Oh, well, I was gonna read it, but then I was like, well, I don't want to, spend a half an hour, so I'm gonna send it to you. But Noel, I guess Noel DAOF. The naming conventions on Greenskeeper, like.
Well, I actually had a statement here from. I think I'm not sure if it's he or she, but they said that they become an instant fan of yours when they visited your website and said, what a unique idea and a website. So I was just passing that on.
See, and that's the coolest part
Thank
about
you.
working
That's
with
so great to
Greenskeeper. Yeah, that's so cool. Like, I mean, we're introducing your brand to members of Greenskeeper that would maybe have never heard of you, and bringing, well, obviously fans. Everybody, all the comments that I read were extremely positive, and
Yes, they were.
some of the things. And I'm going to pull a little snippet before I send it to you. But one of the quotes here was, "Oh my goodness gracious! When I read this post just now, I immediately went to her link, and I just loved everything about it. How could anyone not?" And
Wow,
then,
great.
yeah, it just goes on and on and on.
That's
So,
what I like to see.
yeah.
It's
So
my passion.
we were chatting about it a little bit earlier, and you're going to be coming to Scottsdale for hashtag the Evan 15. But past Google Plus, and I feel a little bit responsible for pushing you and kicking you into the golf community. But how else are we going to work together? I feel like there's so much chemistry here. Like, we need to figure out a way to do something. So, what ideas do you have?
Yeah. A lot of things currently, we talk a lot about the team golf and travel. That really was the focus of how I started Team to Table. But, I'm working with a lot of courses on, events like we talked about, hosting events, being the personality of events. I'm working with the Force Hire Food and Beverage Department. And actually at the Kingsmill LPGA ladies tournament this year for their Executive Women's Day, I'm going to be the MC.
No way.
Yeah, I'm excited. That just came out this week. And so I serve in that capacity a lot. Or, I might be able to fill in when Jason's out next time. You never know.
Yeah, well, I asked Scott Merchant to fill in, and he had some excuse about being at some Chicago golf show. And then I asked John to fill in, and he had a meeting. And I asked Zeb to fill in, and he was busy. And I'm like, guys, no, we have too much to talk about anyway. I don't even need you guys. So, Jason, I hope you're enjoying your weather. Les can speak to that. Weather here is perfect, and we've been able to fill this half an hour without you, Jason. It's not that I don't need you, but, well, this just shows that I can live without you. So, Les, do you have any final questions? Because my favorite part's coming up.
No, I just wanted to say.
No.
I just want to say, Deanna, you're an excellent guest.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun. We started 5 minutes
hour.
early, and we're almost 5 minutes late. Like, I feel like we could speak all day about this stuff because I mean, you've got so many things going on. Like,
we haven't scratched the surface.
I know, and that's why one of the, and just so you know, and I haven't announced the pairings yet for hashtag the Evan 15, but you may or may not be playing with me in at least one of the days because I just want to chat about everything golf and travel. And so, tell me, like, before I get to the back nine, because the back nine is the 9 what I used to call rapid fire, but they're no longer rapid fire, and we changed the name of the lightning round to appease Les, and we're going to change it. I don't even know. Why did I put the back nine, Les? Should we call it the back nine, or should we call it the lightning?
That's what we used to call it before.
I know. Don't say anything about that. I don't know. We have nine rapid, and I just read an interview. Speaking of Brady Wilson from Auction Southern Dunes, he was interviewed by ArizonaGolfer.com, and they did 18 questions, and I don't want to do that. I don't think.
That's too many.
Yeah, it might be. But tell me, before we get to the back nine, tell me just the craziest travel story you have. Like, there's got to be just a travel story that when you think about all the places you've been that just sticks out. Yeah. What's the craziest travel story you got?
Yesterday was chaos. Les knows, right? It's snowing in Virginia, and I'm in Virginia. I'm based out of Michigan. And I got invited to an event last night at Independence Golf Course here, and I got to meet the PGA commissioner, which is pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
And the GM for the Washington Redskins and some other people. So my husband was going to come with me, and we have friends here, and we both went to the airport together, walked through security, and I got a text saying our flight was canceled. And I was like, oh, Rod, we have an event we actually have to get to. So we went to the ticket counter, and I left on a 10 o'clock through LaGuardia to Richmond, and I landed at 3 o'clock. He was supposed to land at 5 o'clock, and he didn't make it here till 8 o'clock. I was only concerned because my clubs didn't make it with me, and so I said, don't forget to get my clubs before you leave, because they said it's on the next flight, and it's at the Delta counter. So he got off the plane. He had both car. Well, the bag that I was missing was actually his luggage bag and not my club. We got everything. We had 4 bags, 2 each. I thought they tagged us as luggage and golf clubs. And we were sitting at dinner, and they called me and said, you didn't pick up your bag. I go, well, you guys didn't get my golf clubs? And they said, yes, we did. I was like, so we went back to the airport at 11 o'clock last night.
Wow.
So, the joys of travel.
And that happened yesterday. So just imagine the stories that you could have. That's fantastic. Well,
yeah, it's just a fresh one.
Les, thanks for all your awesome questions. Deanna, thank you for joining us. This has been so much fun. I can't wait for hashtag the Evan 15. But before you go, we got 9 more questions for you, and they're
oh
fun.
gosh, I'm nervous.
And typically these are pretty, not canned, but typically they tend to repeat themselves a little bit. But this week, no. So let's go.
One of them repeats itself forever.
Well, that may or may not have happened this week. So it's almost lunchtime here. I'm hungry. Let's have steak. How do you have your steak prepared? Because you said you like steak.
Medium rare. Medium rare.
That is good. Never rare and never medium. And when it's medium, I know, and I send it back if it's medium.
I know. Mm-hmm.
So you can pair wine with food. We all know that, but beer is better. What is your favorite craft beer?
You know, I've been exploring a lot, and actually in Scottsdale when we were at, where were we?
Four Peaks?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes,
Very
that's
good.
where we were. And I can't, again, all these names are, there was a, I like pale ales.
Okay.
So that's about, that's my taste.
Their pale ale.
Okay, that's what it was. My favorite so far.
I love it. What's your favorite airline?
Delta.
First class or coach?
First class.
Of course. I mean, that's insane. I shouldn't even ask that. Nobody's going to say coach.
For free. Come on.
So you're all over Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Google Plus, and you've been doing fantastic with Google Plus. What's your favorite social network?
Oh, you know, it kind of changes. I got into Google Plus as a suggestion, and I found the golf community because when Mallory was interviewed with you, that's kind of why I stumbled upon it. But I'm having so much fun with Google Plus. I feel like it's a little bit more interactive, and I feel like I am learning about people and their personalities a little bit more. I feel like Twitter's just tweeting and retweeting, and Instagram is photos. So I'm having a lot of fun with the engagement at Google Plus.
Well, and I hope I hope it didn't sound like I yelled at you, because sometimes I feel like people take it that way. But yesterday when I had to remove that post, you were like, "Oh, I didn't refresh my page," and I'm like, "You are so good at your content. It's fantastic." So I wasn't actually yelling. I might have been typing fast and hard, but I was not yelling. Who is your favorite PGA Tour player? Be careful how you answer this.
It's not. You know, TW, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I think that you give him enough love. You could be his only fan and give him enough love. You know, I like Billy Horschel. I've spent time with him because I think I like him as a person. He's blue collar. He has, you know, good roots. You know, and Adam Scott's not bad to look at.
Well, speaking of Billy Horschel, and I don't know anything about Adam Scott, but speaking of Billy Horschel, did you see his video when he and Brian Urlacher were out here at True North for that the Golf Now campaign? They shot a video hitting tee shots on a par 3.
I haven't seen that yet, and you told me about it, and I haven't been able to find it. So you might
I'll send it to you. Yeah, absolutely. So we only have a couple of questions left, but what's your favorite golf course?
Okay. Ballycat Golf Club. I love it.
Yeah. Now, Les, I bet you were thinking, wow, he didn't ask the question.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Speaking of majors, because we're not and haven't talked about majors at all, you did mention the Masters, though. Speaking of majors, do you think Tiger breaks Jack's record? All right, well, this interview is over. I'm just kidding.
I knew it. I'm sorry, you're right. He's great. He's going to break it. He's wonderful.
See, guests that are impending should watch that section of the show, if nothing else, to prepare for that question. For when that question comes, they make up the most elaborate answer, regardless if it's the case. And
honesty is always the best policy, though.
And the final question of the Friday Foursome, what's next for Tee to Table?
You know, it's going to be a crazy year, like I said, with the LPGA event that's coming up at Kingsmill. I'm also, you know, working with a couple courses that will be opening, and you just never know. It's a product and something that keeps changing. Where I was a year ago is not where I am today, but I can guarantee it will always be fun because I'm so passionate about food, golf, and travel.
That is awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this today. This was fantastic. Trust me, this is not the last we will see of Tee to Table. If nothing else, we're going to see you at hashtag the Evan15. I'm going to be following along. I'm going to be commenting on your blogs and making your recipe. Actually, I'm not going to make the recipes. I'll have somebody else make the recipes, and I'll eat the recipes. But it has been fantastic. And play more golf. That's been kind of a little bit of a focus of my week this week. So
Absolutely.
play more golf, and I love it.
I wish I could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come visit me. It's gonna rain though. It's gonna rain tomorrow, so I don't have to worry about that. But more than anything that you do, do what Matt Rust says and make less bogeys.